Hello, I'm Jack Middleton. So, the heads of 198 countries are meeting in France for the COP20 Council to decide the fate of the world. It's like the Council of Elrond, only it's somehow taking a lot longer. We're getting a lot less done, and our fellowship consists of the G20 members, which are sort of causing the majority of the problems we're trying to fix.
The mission of world leaders and policymakers at this UN climate change conference is to reach an agreement that would eventually stop the trend of record hot year after record hot year.
Hombres y mujeres son expulsados de sus casas.
Of the 15 warmest years on record have occurred since the year 2000. And 2015 is on pace to be the warmest year of all.
Will be the warmest year on record since we have records.
It's undisputable that a rise of 2 degrees or more around the world will cause droughts, there'll be rising sea levels, we'll lose all the coast. Developing countries will be hit the hardest, which aren't the countries causing this problem. Carbon dioxide levels have not been above this line for more than 650,000 years. That's longer than humans have been in this current evolutionary form. Some of the world's largest contributors are the United States, China, Japan, the Russian Federation, and the European Union. In a new report by Oxfam, we found that the world's richest 10% produce more than half of the world's emissions, while the poorest and vulnerable, the ones that are going to face the catastrophic storms and droughts and other severe weather conditions, contribute the least. The poorest half of the world's population, 3.5 billion people, are producing just 10% of global emissions. So with all these negotiations in Paris, it's the major developed countries that are causing the problem. It only takes a bit of analysis to find that the myths that citizens of developing countries are to blame for burning fossil fuel. The reason why we keep going back and forth year after year is because a select few would benefit from a weak deal, and that's the billionaires who have fortunes in fossil fuel. A person in the richest 1% of the world's population uses 175 times more carbon on average than someone from the bottom 10%. The total emissions of the poorest half of the population of China, which is about 600 million people, are only 1% of the total emissions of the richest 10% in the US, some 30 million people. So there's a big difference in who's using energy, how much money they have. There's definitely a correlation with that. And Australia is making one of the weakest commitments in Paris.
The rejection of the fossil fuel pledge came after politicians from Australia's National Party, who tend to represent rural areas, reportedly lobbied against it.
Turnbull has promised $1 billion to support climate change adaptations, but this is no real increase, and it's not going to make much of a difference. 86% of Australia's power comes from fossil fuels. I was thinking though, do you know what we have a lot of here in Australia? The sun. Yes, so naturally, Synergy is making people pay more for solar power. Linda Rose, Synergy's chairman, says that solar panel owners are getting a subsidy. Well, yes, after the $6,500 it takes to get a basic system installed that won't even cover your daily needs, maybe. But he says it won't reflect the annual charges of being connected to the network. But he does claim it's not an argument against solar technology. No, you're right, it's just a dumb and money-driven argument against logic that completely has a disregard for your planet that you live on. So anyone can make a difference in climate change. Anyone can fight for the planet, even Ben and Jerry's.
This is what happens when ice cream is just 2 degrees warmer than it should be. For Ben and Jerry's, it's a mess.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. If something's going to instigate a change globally.
We shape what will be in the history books. This will be in the history books. It is what we make out of it.
Or if you read this article, global warming is solved. We've solved it because we've isolated the protein which prevents ice cream from melting. So we can have our unmelted ice cream, and well, all the cows may be dead because the grass is dead, or the almonds or soy, whatever you like. But it's okay because we've managed to make scientific developments in preventing ice cream from melting, but we can't save our entire planet.
À Paris en 2015,
les gouvernants du monde entier
vont se réunir
ومتسيسين
والعمل معا untuk menjadikan Paris 2015
борьбе с глобальным климатическим изменением.
Seriously, if Greenland, the country, melts like our ice cream, which will happen if the world gets too hot, the seas will rise 23 feet. That's Venice gone, New York gone. Let's hope that the heads of these major, powerful, rich and energy-guzzling nations will do the right thing for the rest of the people of the world and all the living creatures on the planet that we are slowly killing. I'm Jack Middleton. Stay cool.